you how many people have asked me to do this, because apparently this guy from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial reminds a lot of people of this guy. So here you go.
I'm an expert witness. I'm saying as an expert witness.
Let's start with the easy question then.
That was pretty easy. Go ahead.
Doctor, you're going to have to just answer the questions.
Okay, sorry about that. Having trouble getting into this side.
You need to just answer the question.
Okay. I'm not sure why we're arguing psychiatry, because I'm telling you what it is.
Dr. Siegel, you just need to answer the question.
Okay.
Mr. Depp fell asleep with ice cream in his hand. That's not vomitous, right?
I was told it was vomitous.
Okay.
It does fit just a little too well, doesn't it?
Welcome back to the Unintentional Juror podcast. I go by the name of Heinz, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. What you saw right now was the mishmash or the mashup of Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz, the voice of the Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz, Dan Povermeyer, giving his spiel of Dr. Spiegel's act on the stand in the Delphi trial. But on today's episode, or should I on today's show, we shall be diving deep into the Richard Allen Richard Allen case, Lil Durk, as well as Meg Thee Stallion. And I have a guest with me today who is here with me and goes by the name of Alyssa. Thank you so much for joining me, Alyssa. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Is your microphone all right?
Oh, who knows?
No, all right.
What's wrong with it?
Can you see me this time?
I can see you, yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, like I said, we shall be going through.
Oh, no. I don't know what is going on. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Everything all right now?
Yeah. All good.
Okay. Perfect. Like I said, we shall be going through the Megan Thee Stallion lawsuit because she has decided to file a lawsuit against milligrams for all of her defamatory statements about her online, as well as her online harassment. That's what she's citing in the lawsuit. So we shall be going through that on the show, as well as Lil Durk, who has been arraigned, and he tried to flee the country actually, but he was quickly indicted, and he is arrested, and he's starting to go through trial. And also we shall be providing a little bit of updates in the Richard Allen case, because that case, a lot of secrecy. Well, they're trying to keep that case suppressed, and without Andrea providing the updates, who knows whether we will be knowing anything that's going on there. So yeah, Alyssa, how are you doing? Welcome.
I'm good.
So what do you think of the Delphi Murders case?
Oh, so it's definitely one that's been on my radar for a while, but it's been so hard to follow the whole time, just because they've kicked the cameras out of the courtroom.
Yeah.
They don't even, like, I know in the past, I know with like Lori Vallow for her trial, there were no cameras, but they would release the audio at the end of the day.
Right.
So at the very least, you could follow along that way. It was harder, but you still knew what was going on. There's been nothing. I think there was maybe even the pre-trial stuff. There was only one or two hearings that they would let the cameras in for. So,
right.
You know, we got to count on the reporters, which is the main reason I started watching trials, is because you can't trust the mainstream media half the time.
Exactly. And as you put there, for this case, especially with the Laura Vallow case, I'm surprised that they didn't at least take down that route to go and provide at least some kind of source. But Attorney Andrea Barker has been providing updates in regards to the trial. It's been hard for me because I've been in and out of hospital, so it's been hard for me to follow the case. But for what I do know, for what I do know, it's actually crazy that this man has actually experienced some form of psychosis, and they didn't, from what I gather from the information coming out, they didn't even test him to see whether he was actually mental. Am I right by saying that they didn't even actually test him to see whether he was mentally ill or not, to see whether they should follow the procedures required?
Pretty much. I mean, they made up their own procedures basically. So they, instead of keeping him in like a county jail, which would be normal, they said that to keep him safe during the pretrial, we're going to send him to a max security prison, and that's where he needs to be. And when he went in there, he was fine for the most part. He had some anxiety and depression was his main background, like with any mental illness. But they had him, kind of protective custody type of a thing, which, especially if you're already starting to have some, mental illness stuff, that's kind of the worst possible thing. It's just to completely isolate someone. And that's what they did. And then he ended up on these suicide watches. And it was after that, and also after he got the discovery of all the stuff that they had about him or on him that they claimed, which from what I'm hearing, just how like the pictures from the crime scene and stuff like that are probably traumatizing. They sound very graphic. So that combined with all these other stressors seemed to be kind of what led him into this psychosis. And it was only at that point when he starts making all these confessions, apparently, to the psychologist there, who conveniently who was a big fan of true crime, was apparently following this. She was in all the Facebook groups for this case and didn't see that as a conflict somehow. And so allegedly he confessed to her with her notes, or just like to a bunch of random officers who are watching him. And it's all just their notes.
What do you make of those confessions? Because it sounds a bit too convenient to all of it. Like, do you think that they're accurate?
No, not at all. I don't. I mean, that's not a reliable condition. It's basically like, and I don't even feel like I'm exaggerating saying this, because a lot of people I've seen who did kind of see some of the images. They wouldn't show the images of the videos the jurors watched on Friday, or I don't know, maybe it was yesterday even, because they've been doing Saturday courts, which is crazy. But they had the jury watch the videos of him when he was in, I think it was only during like transport and stuff, but when he was still incarcerated and made some of these confessions, but there was no sound apparently. And people have literally been describing them as it's like prisoner war type situations. Like you can't get accurate confessions out of people.
Being stuck in solitary confinement as well for 13 months in the condition that he was in. I'm surprised I'm surprised he was even able to confess to something outside of, I need food, I need something.
Right. Well, he'd stopped eating for a while. They said he was like eating paper at some point.
Was he actually eating some feces?
Yes. Apparently eating it and putting it on himself. And I won't lie, I've seen this type of stuff happen, and it's not pretty. And you don't just keep someone in that same spot. That's not going to fix it. At all.
That's the one thing that caught my eye about this case, is about is treatment, because they didn't like the fact that they didn't even follow procedure is the one part that caught my eye, like completely, because how do you see someone that is mentally ill and then you decide, well, he could be feigning the illness, like
Right.
how did they make that determination? Has anything come out in regards to that?
No idea. They kind of alluded to, from what it seems, and again, we can only go off of what's being reported. I mean, thankfully, we've got Andrea there, who has always,
Yeah.
been a trustworthy source for things like this. But
Yeah, like I'm going back to through through all of her live streams every day of this case, and I am only working off the bits that I've come to learn, and like the highest that I know is like I said, how did they determine that he was not mentally ill, but then he was feigning the mental illness? How did they come to that?
I guess they just assumed. There were some of the officers that they had come up that said that, he would do some of these bizarre things. And that's the thing, is these confessions were also while he was doing other bizarre things, like with the feces and banging his head on the wall, like repeatedly. But they're saying that, he would only do these, like he would check and see if they were looking first or they were watching, which could be the case. I mean, I know I had to get really good at, being able to kind of watch someone kind of sneakily to see if that would happen, because sometimes people will try that, but you can't keep that up for 13 months. There's just no way.
Yeah.
And they ended up giving him medications for him. They were giving him antipsychotics. So if they thought he was fainting, why are you then giving him medications to treat the psychosis?
Good catch. Yeah, no, that's a very good point you brought up, because it's because now you have to explain how you determine what type of antipsychotics to even give him. If you determine that he was feigning, why would you give him antipsychotics then? Because it could have the opposite effect when the person is fit and healthy.
And that could actually make it worse.
Absolutely.
If that was the case.
Absolutely.
And it seems like they had given him, and this is just kind of like with my background, one thing I had noticed, it seemed like from what was reported, at least, they were giving him Haldol, which is a typical one, but they gave him both the long-acting injection and then like the regular one. So they were giving him ones that are supposed to, it's a monthly shot, but you're not supposed to even do that until it's built up in your system for a little bit to make sure you tolerate it. So everything is wrong about. I think they were. At this point, I truly think that they were. I don't know how else to make of it.
Like, what do they? Let's go back a bit, because I want to go back to the crime scene photos that they have, because from what I saw is a grainy image that they had.
Yes.
And they tried to enlarge that, and they say that was him. That was at the crime scene.
Yeah, the bridge guy.
But has there been anything concrete to actually say that it was actually Richard Allen? Because nothing concrete at all. So they're just relying on a grainy image, putting this guy in 13-month-old.
Doesn't even look like him, though. It doesn't even look like him. He's a short guy. He's like, maybe, I think they said like 5'6" maybe. They had an eyewitness who saw this bridge guy, who she said he's taller than me, and she was 5'8", so she was guessing around 5'10", which that's how I measure height. If you're taller than me or not, which most people are taller than me, so
right.
Like, but that's kind of your best bet sometimes. And pretty reliable, at least, like, and you know what your own height is. So they're thinking that he's like 5'10", but then you're confusing it with this guy who's 5'6", comparatively. It just doesn't add up. But for the longest time, that was the only clue they had. Like when I'd first heard about this case, probably it was either a year or 2 years after the murder. So like 2018, 2019. And that was all that had ever come out was this video. And they have 2 sketches that they took. Neither of them look the same. Like they look completely different from each other. And neither of them look like Richard Allen whatsoever. And I guess the only other evidence that they claim is tying him to was a unshot bullet that they said had been cycled through the gun but wasn't actually shot. So like, but they claim that it had the markings that matched his gun. But they also tested it against a bunch of other guns that they couldn't rule it out.
Yeah, that sounds reliable.
Science.
Yeah, it does sound like junk science. It does sound like junk science.
There's no DNA. It's just there's nothing. It's crazy.
Yeah,
and he had gone to them saying that when it had first happened, just saying that he had been on that bridge that day. Like that was it. They did an interview with him, closed it out, done, and then years later came back and we were like, this guy seems like we should look into this more.
Yeah, like and to bear repeating myself again, like this guy was in a psychiatric, not even in solitary confinement. Sorry, not psychiatric. Solitary confinement for like 13 months, eating his own feces, and but it came out that he had previous mental health disorders or mental health issues. How reliable is that? Is that true?
No, he's admitted it. Yeah, he mentioned it because he kind of thought that they were possibly going to use that against him because I guess he had some anxiety, depression. He had a couple years before the arrest had some thoughts of wanting to take his own life. Didn't, obviously, ended up in the hospital for a little while. But that was about it. And he even said, I've had this my whole life. This has been a struggle. Like, because he felt like they were implying that it was his guilty conscience that had led him to that. But yeah, like he's admitted to that part at least. But I mean, the thing that, I especially learned, like, working in patient psych is like every one of us is like just a like life stressor situation away from getting to that point. So, everything on top of what they then put him through, who wouldn't end up in like this terrible like state mentally? It's just, I can't.
It's a shame. Well, at least I'm following the case now, but it's a shame that I only heard about this case when I got out of hospital, which wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
So I am very, very late to this case. Apparently, it's been bubbling up for like 2, 3, 4 years or something like that. Is it?
So the actual murders were in 2017.
Yeah.
But then it was unsolved for so long. So it was, 22? I want
Yeah,
to say. And they made the arrest.
Yeah. So I know that.
But it has been hard to follow the whole time, too. Because they just are so close. And now you kind of see why. Why would they want to put this out there that that's how they're treating people?
Of course. Like when it comes to next week's episode, I'll be more armed with knowledge about it because what I'm seeing is terrifying for me. But in regards, so how do you think it's gonna go for him in trial?
So I mean, it's hard to know because it's hard to know how people are presenting this evidence, and we're getting it through a filter. I think, but what is interesting is the jurors are allowed to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
So it does seem like some of the questions they were asking earlier on, it seemed like they might have been kind of catching on to this a little bit. Because they had similar ones as to like how you would determine like the feigning and stuff like that. But then yesterday, and I do remember it was yesterday when they were showing these videos. The defense had actually asked if they could kind of turn the screen so only the jury was really seeing everything, just to, I mean, they know how bad
in the dark.
these videos are. Right. It's well, not even in the dark. It was more like to preserve some of his dignity.
Oh, okay,
you know,
okay.
it's like the jury's the ones who have to see this, but like they know how bad these videos are. And it's like, you know, his wife didn't show up yesterday because she knew they were going to be watching them, and just she wanted to respect him by like stepping back with that. But so then everyone who was there to watch the trial, really all they could do was watch the jurors who are then watching these videos, and it's kind of seemed from everyone, like you know, and I've kind of been watching multiple live streams on it just to try and see, you know, corroborate different stories. Everyone kind of seems like, okay, something shifted. Like their faces were very like, you can only kind of hold back for so long when you're watching something like that. You know, it seemed like they kind of really got it. You know, and it's tragic, honestly, that this is what it's come to, because this is a story now. It has kind of totally changed from being about getting justice for these two girls that were brutally taken, and you know, it's turned into a whole different scenario now.
Yeah, because it seems like they don't even know that they have the right guy. Like they don't even.
I mean,
it doesn't
they
seem
think
that
they do. I don't think. Well, and that's the thing, is they're saying, oh, we know it's definitely him and just him, but it also the timing has never added up for me for it to be one person, because they were, you know, kidnapped from this one spot. They had search teams like all in the area for a while, and no one found anything. And then they weren't found until the next morning. And it was an area that they were found in that had already been searched the night before. So it doesn't seem like it could have been done
by one person.
By one person. And they even said that they decided it was one person when they arrested Richard Allen. That's when they were like, okay, yeah, it's only one. Like, what?
Just conveniently, and and we conveniently now have these confessions, like those confessions. I don't know what to make of them, but I will reserve my judgment for next week when I actually dive deep into this case. So that's but. Have you heard of the Megan Thee Stallion case, by the way?
I haven't actually. I'm interested though.
Okay.
What's going on with that?
Okay, so
you're gonna teach me on this one.
Well, we'll learn together. So she is. For those that don't know, hold up. Yeah, let me just close that. For those that don't know, Megan Thee Stallion has sued bloggers that have been. Well, for those that don't know, I've said that 3 times now. Megan Thee Stallion was in a trial with Tory Lanez. He is now incarcerated. Yeah, he's now incarcerated. Yeah, that's a cool term for it. He's now incarcerated. And she is now going to sue the bloggers that have been basically defaming her name, etc. And we're just gonna go through the lawsuit that was filed here. So it says, for years, defendant Cooper acted and continues to act on behalf of Daystar's Peterson, also known as Tory Lanez, as an online rumor mill, churning out falsehoods about Miss Pete to her tens and thousands of social media followers. Since Mr. Pearson's 2020 indictment for felony assault with a deadly weapon after shooting Miss Pete to his later conviction in December 2022, we covered that trial on the main channel. You can go watch that. Up through to today, defendant Cooper performed Mr. Peterson's public bidding to denigrate, belittle, insult, and spread false statements about Miss Pete on her social media platforms for no other reason to bully, harass, and punish Miss Pete for Mr. Peterson's conviction and tarnish her reputation, causing emotional distress. Now, there is actually I think that did she include video I think she included tweets. There it's more than tweets. She also made deep fakes of Meg the Stallion, where they would literally put her face on a porn star or something like that. Yeah, like it was really bad. It was really bad. Yeah, so so let's continue reading. To the lengths to which this defendant Cooper goes to arrest Miss P has no bounds. For example, she has gone as far to make deep fake pornographic video of Miss P. In June 2024, defendant Cooper encouraged her 27,000 followers to view an ex post by Bimbaya that shared a doctored, artificially created video of Miss P. I actually saw this as well. Purportedly engaged in sexual acts without Miss P's knowledge or consent. After defendant's conduct led to a firestorm of negative reaction of others, defendant doubled down in a YouTube video on June 9th, 2024, claiming Miss P was a professional victim and denying any wrongdoing. But defendant is wrong. Her conduct was unlawful and was an unlawful promotion of an altered sexual depiction of Miss P's severe emotional distress and reputational harm. They go on to I'm not gonna read all of this, but this is the tweets during the trial. She made posted the following tweets. She has been very hard on Megan Thee Stallion. By the way, did you follow the Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez case? Did you follow that at all?
A little bit. I'm gonna have to go back through the other channel too, but just kind of like peripherally would kind of see what was going on with it. I remember the verdict coming up, but that was another one that wasn't streamed either, right?
No,
they kind of had to depend on people.
It was in.
That's what I remember about it.
It was in California court, so there was no hope of getting that streamed at all.
Nope.
Yeah. So enough is enough. Enough is enough. Miss P, a victim of a violent crime and a champion of women's rights to her millions of fans, will no longer stand for defendants' campaign of harassment. She brings this complaint for damages and equitable relief to end defendant Cooper's vendetta against her. And to be quite fair, this is the video. To be quite fair, I think she's right to do this suit because this is the live stream that she was referring to. So in the nature of in the factual allegations, so she says, hold on, let me just go to the point. Defendant years, okay. So this is the thing that she was referring to. Let me read this part. It says in YouTube post, defendant shared an image of Miss P over a news Chiron that questioned whether Miss P is a professional victim. A true and correct copy is of a screenshot shown here. Defendant then shared a screenshot on the X that directed photos to go to my likes, and it, yeah. So all of this is just defendant's likes page included a post that promoted and transmitted and shared the deep fake video, thus provided our followers access to the deep fake video. Defendant Cooper admitted in her YouTube post
Wouldn't that just be if she had just liked it?
Huh? Say that again, sorry?
Did it just say that it was only her likes though?
Yeah,
So
like
she just liked it?
no. It's kind of a way to store up, because before Twitter is the way it is. People used to
Right
like
before they got rid of seeing the likes.
before now, because now you can't see people's likes, but before that, this was the way that it was a way to get people to store stuff
Well, like
and
it's
save
purposely
stuff,
liking it just so
just so that people will
I was
see
gonna
it.
say,
Yeah.
well, if she had just liked it, then what the heck? But yeah, if you're purposely having it right up at the top there, I can see that being more problematic.
Yeah. So hold up. Hold on a second. 1 second.
Sorry, I got you.
No.
distracted.
No. It's not you. I just realized that my volume, that my audio may have been double backing, like echoing. Yeah, I just realized that my audio may be echoing. So let me go back to reading that. So it says defendant Cooper affirmed that in a YouTube post she stated that she told whoever follows me on social media to go to my likes to see what we were discussing, which confirmed she encouraged her followers to watch the deepfake video. Most recently, on October 27, 2024, defendant Cooper made the false and outlandish claim the firearm Mr. Pearson used to shoot Miss P has gone missing. Defendant Cooper tweeted, "Didn't I tell you all that the gun was never presented in court? That ain't make no damn sense. They gave the serial number and breezed past it. Like, first off, whose was it? Origin point, please." Damn. Damn. I knew it because I think without exculpatory evidence. So she highlighted this part: without exculpatory evidence, petitioner cannot file my claim of innocence. Which I think I even quoted this tweet and said that's not what it means, because just because someone says without exculpatory evidence does not mean that they did not actually. Anyway, moving on. But she got on to make that
no,
post.
that's not how it works.
Yeah, that's not what that's what I quote to it. It was like, that's not what that means.
I love it.
Okay, so it's defendant Cooper's
Yes.
statements recklessly disregarded truth and suggested that the firearm was never presented in court because it had allegedly disappeared. It has not. The firearm remains in custody of the Los Angeles Police Department, and it is standard procedure in California criminal cases to show an image of the firearm in question rather than present the firearm in court. Defendant Cooper could have easily verified this information but chose to ignore and instead promulgated lies and about the integrity of the trial and related investigation. That's the part that got me, because it was pure lies. Like, and it wasn't just her; it was also DJ academics as well, because I saw the lies like that they've been promoting as well. On October 28th, 2024.
And that was during the trial, or it's just been like ongoing?
No.
as
This
well?
is this is after a trial, so they're trying to change the discourse.
Just keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, basically. So on October
Mhm.
October
Oh
28th,
God.
on October 28th, notwithstanding that a jury of Mr. Pearson's peers found him guilty of shooting Miss Pete in December 2022, defendant Cooper reposted a video of herself where she had discussed the trial on her ex. In the video, defendant Cooper asked Miss Pete, "Can you even prove that you were shot?" Oh my gosh. Oh.
What?
on October, like,
They found him guilty.
yeah, it's so funny.
What?
All of this is too funny. All this is too funny for me because
Right.
on
Like,
October who shot Milagro, stop talking about the case. We've moved on. Every time they lied, I'ma make you all cry. Like all of this, um, over. It goes on. I'm glad that she's doing this. I'm actually glad that she's doing this because at least
Right.
people
Yeah.
because people will now have to take care on what they post because their
Right.
agenda
Especially
against
if you're gonna like just make stuff up.
they literally do that. They literally do that, especially against Megan. I don't know what she's done to cause people to go this far out, but I've seen so many hatred towards her. It says over 100K people are signed petition requesting that Tory Lanez be released from prison, citing exculpatory evidence. I don't know what exculpatory evidence that he had presented because there was none. There was none. There was a reason why he was found guilty
Right.
because there was no exculpatory evidence presented during trial. On September 2nd,
Right.
2024, defendant Cooper reposted a video in which a talk show host said Megan allegedly still had a severe drinking problem. From what I've heard, I think she needs to spend more time in a relationship with herself and the therapist, maybe AA. Defendant Cooper obsessive post about Miss Pete continued in August 2024 when she posted a tweet asking if Megan Thee Stallion was caught crying, trying to deceive the courts again. Damn. Uh this girl just doesn't get it. Just doesn't get it.
What?
Defendant continued to spew false information, false statements and narratives about Miss Pete. On July 20th, 2024, defendant Cooper posted a podcast style video on X in which she states, "What is Megan's mental status? Does she have a guardian or not? Has she been listed as a capable person? Has she ever been deemed like legally retarded?" Wow. Wow. Like
Oh
anything
my
of the
god.
nature, anything of the sort. Wow. Wow. I mean, to be quite fair, maybe I don't know how it works, but some of these may be protected by the Amendment. Some of this, but it is harassing. So I don't know
Some
how
is, but
some
right.
of some of these tweets could be protected by the First Amendment, but I don't know. But there are definitely some lies here that could go against the defendant. But I don't know how they
Oh
handle
yeah.
harassment cases over there. So I would definitely have to see how this one unfolds. Megan wants to know. So the tweet here goes on to read: Megan wants to know what she has to do to stop being posted on certain outlets, and then she goes and then says she's going to Cardi B your host. My suggestion would be to just get over it or go away. Cardi won her case because Chacha Shay handed it to her. Tata K handed it to her. Other than that, you are going to get posted. Oh well. Oh wow. So even though she's been told to
Oh
stop
my god.
posting, she continues to post and post and post. On on June 22nd,
Not smart.
2023. Yeah, so I think that's all. Megan paid Kelsey's. Oh my gosh. This one is even worse. The defendant Cooper also doubled down on her falsehood throughout the trial. Indeed, she traveled from Houston, Texas to Los Angeles to attend court proceedings and live streamed her skewed take on criminal proceedings daily to her online followers. This is why I don't be listening to some of these bloggers sometimes. Honestly, this is why. Defendant Cooper consistently
Right.
denigrated witnesses
Yeah.
called by the state, including in below of the defendant's post. It said Megan paid Kelsey's rent for a year. If that would have been Tory, that would have been a bribe or what? Guess what? Sean Holly wasn't representing Tory when Kelsey says Tory said my lawyer said word things a particular way, just like he was never on probation. The details are very slow. I think you're slow. Talk about so all of these things were from the trial. Oh, okay. So that's all I'm gonna be reading from there.
Wow.
Oh gosh, and yeah, so that's the
Mhm.
Megan. That's
I
the
will
Meg.
say though, I think there is some. Yeah, there's a piece to it though, because I mean, that was one of the one things, and I hadn't even. It was like I was pretty sure he was still in jail, but I had even heard like I don't know. It was obviously just rumors, like that he's getting released, which
No, no.
seems to have just been spread by this person. And that's why I was like, I'm not going to believe that until there's anything. And I didn't mention it, and so I'm like, now that this is here for me, I'm like, okay. So I
Nah,
was right
nah.
in not believing that, number one, but that's also to go to just the spread that this, these claims had, where it's clearly not true. And like, I know very little about the case in general, but for
Yeah,
me to have still heard about it is like, ooh.
yeah. Like you are the target. You that don't know the case that very well. Like they target you so that you can have a favorable opinion on Tory Lanez, and which I still don't
Mm-hmm.
get, because end of the day, it's not like he did it. Like the neighbor was there. He saw everything and said that the guy shot, like there was 5 shots, 4 coming from the guy. I'm like,
He got like 10
like,
years or something, didn't he?
yeah, no, I think he's sentenced to 25 years because
Oh,
of the,
dang.
because he was in possession of a firearm when he wasn't allowed, supposed to be. And yeah, so they have been on a campaign to free Tory and all of that, but really and truly, it's just not
But
gonna
I think they
happen.
were saying that something about him being found innocent, because I remember hearing that. And I was like, that doesn't seem right.
Exactly. I'm so anyway, so
That's funny.
yeah, so it-
There might have some teeth to it then. Good for
mm,
her. I'm
yeah,
glad she filed
so
that.
yeah, I'm glad too, because I think you have to hold, like, this is not against every blogger, because this case is not gonna go to like to shut up every blogger. This is just one blogger out of a thousand, but you gotta hold them accountable so that
Right.
they don't spread falsehood against you. This doesn't mean that every blogger is now going to be out of a job because one person has been sued, and let's say that even Megan wins this case. This doesn't mean that every blogger now is going to be used against them. No, it's just one
No.
case. It's just one case. So
Defamatory things you can't
right,
say.
and you definitely cannot make deep fakes about somebody, and expect to get away with it with it. So
Right.
anyway, let's just I'm gonna close off on that one. Yeah, I'm gonna close on that one.
Sounds good.
So I am currently on, then the next time we go live will be next Sunday. So I'm currently on day four. I think day 3 or 4, day 3 or 4 of the Richard Allen case.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I should be caught up by the end of next week,
Yes.
and I'll bring you back so that we can have. Wait, are you free next week? You know,
Next Sunday,
next Sunday.
I think I might have to work.
Yeah, well,
Usually
whenever
every
you're
other.
free.
Right.
Yeah, well, whenever you're free.
Crazy schedule all the time.
Yeah, whenever you're free, like I would love to discuss that case with you guys, and share
Really.
my candid views on it. But
Yes.
but yeah, thank you so much for
I
joining me
know.
today.
Absolutely. Oh, also
Go
a
on.
really random interesting fact. Because I was just Megan Thee Stallion has Alex Spiro as her lawyer, who was Alex Baldwin's
Oh, okay.
or Alec Baldwin's, who
Yeah.
got him off the Rust
Yeah.
case. Same lawyer.
Yeah.
Just a fun fact. That's Megan Thee Stallion's lawyer now too.
Thank you.
Apparently.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Well, thank you for having me. I can't wait to hear your take on
Yeah,
everything when you catch up.
yeah,
And
no, yeah,
I'm gonna look
yeah.
into
I
this one
can't
more
wait.
too. This is
Huh?
interesting.
Oh
I'm
no,
gonna look
no.
into this other Megan Thee Stallion
Oh,
one.
I'm following the Megan Thee Stallion one.
Yeah.
I'm
I know.
following
I'm
it.
gonna look into it a little bit more too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll end it there, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care of
Right.
yourself and have a
Take care.
great night. Bye. The show is over, But that does not mean that the fun has to end. And I know how cliche that sounds, but really and truly, the fun really does not have to end. You know how good our streams are and how fun they can be. So we have decided to put them all into a podcast and a playlist format for you to binge on if you so wish. We also do recaps and clips of the best bits, the worst bits, all of those bits, lady bits, every bits, whatever it might be. We do that as well, and we upload onto the channel so in case you guys just you don't wanna watch the full thing, you have the option of watching just the short versions. It's up to you. You have the choice. You have the power, like E-Man. So without further, you can also check out the main Heinz website where we continue the discussions over there, but in a more broader context to try and get into the psychology of why all these things happen. The end screen should be up here so that you guys can see the content you guys can watch. The playlist will be on your left hand side or right hand side, I don't know which one, and the video that and a recap clip should pop up here. So without further, I'll just say bye, and I'll see you on the next stream, and most importantly, the Unintentional Juror podcast. See you there.